I've been married for 12 years. People want to know, what is the secret of your marriage? And it's very simple. My husband's a Mets fan, which means he has no expectations. I just gotta get dressed in the morning. That's just about it. That's it. Because there are two types of New Yorkers. They're Mets fans and they're Yankee fans. And it's real easy to be a Yankee fan in the city. Being a Yankees fan is like being in love with a supermodel. Being a Mets fan is like being in love with Susan Boyle. It takes a lot of bravery. Because when you think about it, right, what's like the Yankees slogan? Got rings, got rings. Mets, believe. Just believe I'm gonna do the same things I did to you before we got married. Just keep believing that. We have two lovely daughters. I find it hard to be a parent, not really. The hardest thing about being a parent is the people who love to give you advice about being a parent. And there are two types of people. There are people who haven't done it in 30 years and who sucked at it. I call them my parents. Yeah, my mother likes to say things like, oh, you know, I never beat you. And I'm like, my back looks like I'm an extra from 12 Years a Slave. I think you did. I think you did. My second favorite people are my white girlfriends with dogs because they know everything there is to know about parenting because they have a dog. No, there's a few things that dogs and kids have in common. First thing is they need a lot of shots. Secondly, it's illegal to have sex with them. And thirdly, people get really uncomfortable when you beat them in public. They don't really like that. And I had this fight with my friend about it because she's like, no, we both take care of life. It's a life, it's a life, it's a life. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 scenarios where I'm gonna substitute the word dog with the word kid. Here we go. Hey, Celeste, why do you look so sad? I had to put Ruby down last night. Oh my God, what happened? Well, she bit a couple of kids in the playground. They labeled her a vicious kid, and we might get another kid next year. Another situation. Hey, Jen, Celeste, could you do me a solid? Yeah, listen, Bill and I are going on vacation, and our sitter fell through. Can you watch our kids? It's no big deal. Just pop in the house, make sure their bowl's full of Cheerios, water, take them around the block, put the baby back in the cage. She feels safe there. Hey, Jen, it's Celeste again. Hey, what's up? Listen, we're moving to our new apartment, and they don't take kids. I don't know what we're gonna do. I know it's a great apartment. I mean, I don't know. What are we gonna do? Can you watch them for a couple weeks until we find a foster home or a no-kill orphanage? Can you do that for us? So we're moving to the suburbs because it's hard to educate kids in the city. I mean, you got 2 options. You can either spend your life savings getting them through preschool, or you can spend your whole day worrying that they don't get shanked in the sandbox. That's New York City's public schools for you. So we did do both. We had our child and we took her to the private school, and it was parent-teacher night. The teacher's like, hey, how you doing, Mr. and Mrs. Jennings? And I'm like, great, so how's Ruby doing? We don't make those kinds of assessments here. We find judging kids is bad for their self-esteem. I'm paying you $40,000. I don't care about her self-esteem at all. She gets into Harvard, she can make enough money to get a therapist. Let's go. So then we're like, let's just go to public school. Why not? Let's just try it. She's got to be tough. Kids, got to have some moxie. Parent-teacher conference line, I was like, hey, Mrs. Gonzalez, what's going on? How's Ruby doing? Oh, Mama, you got a good kid. She don't bite nobody. She don't poop in her pants. She don't eat no glue. She is ready for Mensa. I do love my kids. The hard thing that I try to do is I always try to not curse in front of them, which is quite difficult because they're children and they drive me crazy. But one day my daughter was walking and she dropped the F-bomb like, psh. And I was like, what did you say? And she was like, pizza. I was like, no. What did you say? And she was like, pizza. And I was like, you know what, baby girl? Mommy spent way too much money on Hooked on Phonics for you not to come up with a better word that rhymes with that. Let's start with duck. How's that? I'm not saying that my kids, watch a lot of television. It's not like the babysitter. It's more like a legal guardian. I feel like it's important for kids to, not bother me. No, they love it. They understand. Mommy does love them on Tuesdays. You have to be very clear with them. I don't beat my kids, and it's crazy because my parents are West Indian, which would make sense, but I grew up in Westchester, which totally messes up my whole thing. So there's a lot of timeouts, and my mother doesn't understand that. She's like, I don't know why you just don't take her into the bathroom. Because I'm like, I'm going to go to jail. So what? Then she'll learn not to disobey you because her mommy's in jail because of her. I had a lot of pressure to have kids. I remember my father was like, for the longest time, I'd been married for years, and he's like, when is someone going to call me grandpop? And I was like, why don't you ask your 20-year-old wife? She's about the right age. He's turning 75 this year. He's having this huge party. And I'm not saying that my dad's an alcoholic, but I would say this. He's throwing this big party. He's got grandchildren. He's like, oh, listen, Celeste. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Dad, what's up? He's like, we can't have the kids at the party. And I was like, why not? Because the hall doesn't allow alcohol if they're going to be kids. But I'm like, you have grandchildren, and you don't want them to come to your party because you'd rather have Johnny Walker. He's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I love you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.